Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Professor Sides and Principles of Microeconomics. This is Chapter 5, Elasticity and its Applications. In this chapter, we will discuss what is elasticity, what is the price elasticity of demand and how it's related to demand curve, what is the price elasticity of supply and how it relates to the supply curve, and some other aspects or other types of elasticity, namely income elasticity and cross-price elasticities of demand. When we talk about elasticity, we need to understand that elasticity is a measurement. It measures the consumer or the seller's response to events which drive up the price. Chapter 4, remember we talked about there are different conditions that would cause the demand curve and or the supply curve to shift or move. Chapter 5 looks at when the curve shifts or moves, what happens, what is the consumer's response. And what you'll find is that chapter 4, 5, and 6 kind of integrate seamlessly, because chapter 4 deals with the market, the buyer and the seller, and then chapter 6 incorporates the government aspect. Remember, the government intervenes for 4 reasons, and they use the tools such as taxes, subsidies, and price controls, namely price ceiling and price floor, to influence or impact the market in some kind of way. So once we look at those pieces and we bring those 2 pieces together, now we are looking into chapter 5, how does the consumer respond, or how does the supplier respond? And what we will find is that they will respond in one of 2 ways to the market when it changes, when the price changes. Remember, chapter 4, the law of demand says that when the price goes up, because the consumer is a rational consumer, they are going to want to demand less. And when the price goes up, the supplier will want to supply more, and that's how the market changes. And then chapter 6, the government. And now, as we look through that response, we will find that the consumer on the demand side will respond in 2 ways. They will respond in a qualitative way, and that's where we're measuring the direction, positive or negative, when the price goes up. And then also we look at quantitatively, we talk about the magnitude. So if the price goes up by $1, how much, what type of response will the consumer have, positive or negative, and by how much? That's the qualitative and the quantitative aspects of measuring elasticity. And then we will see that on the flip side with the supplier, if the price goes up, in what direction will the supplier respond, positive or negative, and by how much? This concludes this segment of the lecture. We're going to move forward into the lecture, and we're going to talk about measurements, the actual calculations for measurements. We will talk about the determinants that will cause us to help us, to help us measure elasticity, and then we're going to talk through some real-world applications. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Have a good day.